Right now, I live in Penn Hills, which is on the east side of Pittsburgh. As a kid, I moved around a lot. I pretty much lived between like my mom and my dad's high school years. So started off ninth grade with my mom on the north side of Pittsburgh. I went to Peary, and then the summer going into like 10th grade, I ended up going to go move with my dad who lived in Edgewood. So 10th grade, I started Woodland Hills High School. And then I went to East Allegheny. My whole 11th grade year and 12th grade year, I ended up getting pregnant. My dad wasn't too happy about it, so I went to go live back with my mom. And then also at that time, my dad, I didn't really know then, but my dad was also using drugs at the time. So it just kind of worked out that it would be better for me to go back with my mom. As a child, I didn't really understand why he wasn't around consistently, why there would be those breaks in between where I may not hear from him. I didn't really understand the full reasons of why you're here today and maybe not here tomorrow, but then here for months. It was me not understanding that if you have a drug addiction, sometimes it's just the drug that's keeping you away, or it's the drug kind of just taking over. It's not really you being who you want to be. My dad, he has been clean now for 22 years, so no slapbacks for a while, which is great. He'll do anything for me, and even when he had his addiction years, he would always, make sure he attended graduations and birthdays, special moments, things like that. Because I was a teenager, I don't know if it was him going into treatments, deciding that was something he wanted and needed to do, or if it really was the help of family members. The 12 steps, the meetings, staying away from certain places, people and things helped him get better. And then he kind of told me just being a dad, wanting to be more involved and be around, kind of helped him stay the course as well. You hear of people with horror stories because both parents were on drugs, or one parent was on drugs and the other parent was just non-existent. I was just blessed when I ended up with my mom. She cared, but she never wanted to be cruel or, nasty, or it's I just don't want your dad in your life at all. Both of my parents always cared, but when you have an addiction, kind of alters the mind and just your thoughts. As I got older, my dad would explain when we would go out on little dates or hang out, he would be like, well, I got to be back by a certain time because I got to go check in at the place. She knew enough to know now might not be a good time to go over, or might not be a good weekend. I remember even one time I was over there and I don't know what transpired or what went wrong, but next thing I know, she was pulling up, picking me up. I just feel as though she always kept my safety and interests first. So it just never got nasty. It was never to a point where no, you can't see your dad. But I guess at some point in time, it was well, it's not a good place for you to go, or that's not a good place for you to be. But she was always supportive to his recovery as well, because I guess she knew that it would make me happy. Don't think that it's you. Don't think that, oh, you're a bad child or you're not a worthy child. It's the addiction. Your parents still loves you, and hopefully they can get themselves clean so that you can see that different person. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to be patient, and you have to give the person time to basically make the decision. You can kind of lead them to the water and, tell them about the resources and tell them, all the things that the rehab centers will do, but they have to be ready to do it themselves. Just hang in there with them. Be positive, care for the person, but set boundaries. You're not loving them any less. If anything, you're loving them more. Have faith, keep faith. It's just never too late. The strength would be to not do drugs for 22 years, to be able to do what's right. Addiction is addiction, whether it's to shopping, whether it's to watching TV, whether it's to, scrolling on social media. And there's some addictions that I have that I'm I don't know how easy they would be to break. I know it's hard once you get addicted to doing something or get into habit of doing something, it's hard to break. So I commend my dad, and I think he's really strong for being able to do it, for being able to stick with that for 22 years now, even though he had many slapbacks and, setbacks and stuff. He finally did it.